Hello, welcome to my virtual Christmas workshop. Thank you so much for purchasing one of my DIY wreath packs. It's really appreciated, as unfortunately the annual 7th year it would have been of workshops was unable to go ahead this year due to COVID restrictions. However, this is the next best thing I've come up with, and you'll still have your own fantastic door wreath. Okay? So I'm going to talk through what we've got inside your pack, and by now you'll also have picked up your ready-made wreath. So this is quite different to what we normally make every year at the workshops. This is a pre-made blue spruce wreath. It's on a conifer base, which is on a wire frame, and obviously it only has the blue spruce. You can attach other foliages to it if you want to, but I think this is a really lovely foliage. It's got a great texture and it still smells amazing as well. So I'm going to talk through how to wire all the items in your pack, and you can basically design the wreath however you want to. Inside your pack you will have a bow, a Hessian bow, so you'll either have a natural, a gold or a silver. So these have been pre-made for you. I know some of you sometimes struggle, so I thought it was easier just to make one for each of you. It's on quite a sturdy wire, and the Hessian itself has got a wire edging in it. So all you need to do is just sort of pull that ribbon out, because it may have got a little bit squashed inside the bag. You need to take a look at your wreath and just decide where the base of your wreath is going to be and where you would like your ribbon. And all you're going to do is you're just going to push that wire straight through. A little bit tricky, but just go with it. And when that wire comes out the other side, you're going to bring it up and you're just going to wrap it around your ribbon, just so it's nice and secure, so that ribbon doesn't come off. Now generally we do usually put the bows on the bottom of your wreath, but you can put them on the top if you want to. There is no wrong or right way, or you don't have to put a ribbon on if you don't want to. Some people prefer to have quite a natural effect and don't want a ribbon. So all I'm doing is I'm just pulling that bow out so it's nice and puffed out, and I've placed mine on the bottom. Like I say, you can put it on the top if you want to. So the next item we're going to put on is your pine cones. So your pine cones are like a main sort of feature on your wreath. In your pack you will have either 5 very large pine cones or about 9 of the smaller ones. To wire them we're going to use the heavy duty black wires. So you'll have quite a good bundle of those. You're going to use about the top third of that black wire, and you're going to place that in the bottom part of the cone and push it through so you have a bit of a sort of hairpin loop like that. And then you're going to give it a couple of good twists like that, and you shouldn't really be able to see that wire, it should be quite hidden. Bend that round so you end up with that. So again, what we're going to do is pretty much exactly the same as what we've just done with your ribbon. We're going to push it through the frame. So it is a little bit tricky. But once you've got that wire through, again what you're going to do is you're just going to bring it round, so either from the top or from the bottom, and just give that a couple of twists around that cone so it is nice and secure. So I've got these cones pre-wired just to speed it up a little bit, and I generally put these in a little bit like, think of a clock, sort of 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, just to get them symmetrical. Now you don't have to individually place your pine cones. If you wanted to, you could group them. You could have like a couple of groups of 3, or you could just like randomly place them round. Like I say, there is no right or wrong way to do this. I'm going to wire mine up as I go along. If you want to, you could get everything wired ready. If you'd like prefer to do it that way. It's completely up to you. So I'll just put another couple of cones in there just so you can get an idea. It's quite easy to push them through the base when you're using those sturdy wires. Okay, so I've got on there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, I've worked in an odd number. I don't know if you remember me saying if you've been to my workshops before, but in floristry, you generally always work with odd numbers. It just works better and looks better. I've got a couple of pine cones left there. I might come back to those later if I need to. So the second item we're going to wire is, this is a whole dried orange. It's been preserved, so it's quite hard at the moment, so it should last quite well. They're a little bit tricky to wire, but if you use again one of the sturdy wires, and then you see how we've got the gaps within the orange, we're just going to push that wire through. It can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes you need to turn your wire around. You can't get it through, try another section. You've just got to persist with these. Get it through like that, again using about the top third of your wire. Bring that round, give that a little twist like that, and you can get those all ready. So again, I would kind of evenly space those out. Push those through. They're quite heavy, the oranges, to make sure they're well in. If you are having trouble getting your wire through the base, you could just put your wire around. So I'm not pushing it through there, I'm just putting it to the top. Bring it round under the wreath like that. And then give it a couple of little twists. That's another option to do if you are struggling to get your wire through the base, because these conifer bases, they're really quite sturdy. They're also good as well because it acts a little bit like the moss-based wreaths. Keeps a lot of the moisture in. So this foliage will keep fresh for weeks really. The damp sort of moist winter air, the moisture in the air will keep them nice and fresh. So you don't need to water these at all. They should last for a long time. And the beauty of the blue spruce is it dries out as well, but it doesn't really drop unless you knock it. So you should get several weeks out of these easily. So again, I've sort of dotted those oranges round quite evenly. Again, I've got those few spare cones to come back to if I want to. So next we're going to use the lotus heads. So the lotus heads are quite delicate. So we're going to use, there's a small bundle of your dark black wires that are a little bit more flexible. I'm going to push those through the lotus head like that. Bend that round, and again a little bit of a twist. Just be gentle with your lotus heads. Don't squeeze them too hard because they are very brittle. So they can easily break and crumble. So a little twist just to keep those wires together, and we've got that. Okay, exactly the same principle as what we've done. Now the lotus heads, again, I've given you 5 because they are what I would call like a focal flower. They're something that really your eye is drawn to because they're quite like large, and they're one of the main decorations on the wreath. Okay, so put as many of those on as you want to. I've got 5 here, so I'm just going to pop those 5 on. Again, I've got a few of them wired ready. So the wreath's really starting to come together now. It's amazing how quickly they can take shape. And also remember, a lot of these items on your wreath you'll be able to reuse year after year because they are like a dried fruit or a flower. So I've got my 5 lotus heads on there. Okay, now you don't have to put these on in the order I'm doing. It's completely your design, it's up to you. We have cinnamon next, so you should have about 9 pieces of cinnamon in your pack. You can put them together in bundles of 2 or 3, or if you have a particularly large piece like that one, you could just put that on its own. It's absolutely completely up to you. Again, we're going to use about the top third. I've got 2 pieces of cinnamon there. I'm just going to twist that wire around the top. Again, give it a little bit of a twist. It's exactly the same with everything. And then you have some hessian string. Now the hessian string you're going to wrap over your wire, round and round and round. So the hessian string has got 2 purposes here. What it's doing is it is holding your cinnamon together, and it is also covering the wire. So I'm just going to tie that off. I'm going to show you that again. So a couple of pieces of cinnamon, hold them together. Put your heavy wire over the top, give that a little bit of a twist, get your hessian string, just wrap that round and round over the wire, on top of the wire, just nice and tight so it's holding that cinnamon in place. A little bit fiddly, but you can tie a nice little bow on that, or you can just cut that off, whatever you wish. Okay, exactly the same. Cinnamon's quite heavy, so make sure that that's well pushed in. Again, right through, give it a little bit of a twist, keep it nice and secure. So your wreath looking lovely now, looking really full already. Pop those other bits of cinnamon off. Smells lovely, the cinnamon as well, nice and Christmassy. So like I said, you can do whatever you want with those bundles of 1s, 2s or 3s. It's completely your design, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that wire is well pushed through. And give it a little bit of a twist round just to make sure it's nice and secure. And there's your cinnamon. Okay, so your orange slices, so you'll have 5 of these. And we're going to use the green wires, so these are quite a flexible, smaller wire. Again, about the top third, you're going to push that into the orange, just next to the rind. Pull it around, a couple of little twists, and exactly the same thing. Now these are a little bit floppy until you push them in. And then once they lie flat or they go next to something, they'll be fine. Now with these wires being a little bit shorter, you might not be able to get them twisted back round. So all you can do is once that's pushed through, you can just bend that wire and push it back into the base, just so it's nice and secure. Because you'll probably not be able to bend it right round, but they're quite light, so they shouldn't really easily come out. So I've got 5 of those, so I'm just going to dot those around again. So push that wire through, I'm going to bend it back, and I'm just going to push it into the conifer. So you can do that if you're struggling, and with these wires being a little bit shorter, it might be easier for you to do that. So straighten your wire if it bends a little bit, push it in to the base, bend it round, fold it in and just push that into the conifer. Okay, so I've got 4 pieces on there now. I'm going to put a 5th one on, so I've got my odd number. Okay. Now that's absolutely looking lovely, isn't it? Really, really natural and fresh. Needs a little bit of colour though. So finally, we're going to add our artificial berries. Berries, you should have 15. And we're going to get the berries in groups of 3. So they're all individual. Get your 3 berries, hold them together and give them a twist. So you have a little group like that. So 3 berries together. Give them a twist. And you have a little group. Get your green wire. Again, we're using the short, thin green wires. Using that top third, place that over, through the bunch, and loop it down again, so you've got that hairpin sort of loop again. Twist all of those wires together, and you end up with that. Another way to do it is, if you find this easier, make your loop first, like that, and place your loop through that bundle, and then twist all of those wires together. It should be nice and sturdy, it shouldn't be flopping around. So with your berries, we're going to do exactly the same as what we've just done with the orange slices. Because we've got a shorter wire, we're going to push that into the base, find the back of your wire, turn it and push it into the conifer. So dot these around so you've got your colour spread. So push that into the base, find at the other side, bend that wire and push that back in. So that's nice and secure. So make sure you spread your berries around your wreath so you've got those nice dots of colour. So like I said, it's really easy to look after these wreaths. You don't particularly need to do anything with them because you don't need to water them. They will last for several weeks, and they should, even if you get everything wired on pretty well, last all right in the wind as well, as long as you've got everything really well wired in. I'm going to put my final berry on there, just checking to make sure everything's even as well. I've got all of my colours spread around. Just check that. Okay, so that is your Christmas door wreath complete. As quick as that. See if you can do that as fast. It is really, really easy this year. We will be back next year, back to our traditional wreath making. But for this year, I hope you enjoy making your door wreath at home. Grab yourself a glass of wine, get your Christmas music on, and maybe do a couple of video calls with your friends. But I really hope you enjoy your wreath this year and that you enjoy making it. Really appreciate your support. It's been a tough year, but we've got through it. We will get through it, and we'll be back bigger and better as ever next year. So thank you so much for supporting me and buying your DIY wreath pack. Enjoy, and happy Christmas.